Hello, my friends. If you are concerned about email deliverability with Kajabi, or if you're experiencing Kajabi emails going to spam, then this video is for you. After over a decade using Kajabi for my email communications with both prospects and clients, I can confidently say that if your emails are going to spam, then you don't have a Kajabi email problem. You may have a settings problem. So as I said, I've been using Kajabi for over 10 years, and my email open rates, well, they're consistently above 50%, sometimes even above 65% open rate, and often 10 to 18% click rates. That wouldn't happen if Kajabi just sent everything to spam. So if your emails are disappearing into the promotions or straight into the spam folder, stay with me, because I'm going to show you the exact setup that I use, the mistakes most people never fix, and what to do if you're already seeing a problem with your email reputation. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. First, the one decision inside Kajabi's email settings that could potentially make or break deliverability. Second, how to correctly set up your DNS records, especially the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, without getting technical headaches. Stay with me on this one, it's pretty straightforward. Third, the biggest mistake that causes most Kajabi users to fail email authentication, especially if you're also using other email platforms like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Google Workspace, or other email tools. And finally, we're going to talk about what to do if your deliverability is already messed up, and the most importantly, how to fix it so your emails are going where they should. Okay, now before we dive in though, I'd like to add a word of caution based on a recent experience with one of my coaching clients. Please, please, please be very careful when asking AI questions on how to fix your email deliverability in Kajabi. In this particular case, this client asked ChatGPT what he should do since he appeared to have an email deliverability issue. And what followed was a long stream of instructions that took him down a very incorrect rabbit hole of custom settings that only made his problem worse. To fix it, we had to completely disconnect his domain and then start over on all his settings for both his domain and his email, which created a temporary disruption in his business because we had to reset everything. So as much as I love AI and I use it in my business, I encourage you to be discerning when asking AI tools about tech support questions, especially for things like Kajabi. For most of your Kajabi questions, our Kajabi mentorship program and community offers a more reliable place to get the support you need. Simply download our free app from the link in the comments below to get temporary access and then upgrade from there if you decide you want to continue. Okay, now back to Kajabi's email deliverability and settings. Let me start with this. Kajabi has a very powerful internal email and CRM system built right in, making running an online business seamless and simple. It's one of the things that really drew me to Kajabi in the early days of my business when I was patching together all of these different things and trying to get them to work seamlessly together. With Kajabi being an all-in-one platform, it allows this internal seamless situation that makes it so much easier from a management perspective, but especially if you have it set up correctly. Now, email hosting platforms like Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook that your prospects and clients are using, well, they don't care what platform you use to send email. They do care whether your domain is authenticated and safe, because their algorithms are programmed to protect their audience from getting questionable emails that aren't authenticated. When I work with entrepreneurs who say, well, Kajabi emails don't work, or Kajabi ruined my deliverability, the problem is almost always this: their domain isn't verified, or they're missing important settings like DNS records. There's maybe no DKIM signature or DMARC policy, or they added too many SPF records and accidentally told Google their emails might be fake. And once we fix those settings, their open rates jumped from sometimes as low as 8% to often over 40% in under 48 hours. Same list, same emails, just different settings. That's how important it is to make sure you have everything set up correctly in Kajabi when it comes to your emails, among other things. Now, let me show you where it all starts inside Kajabi. Now, when you get into your Kajabi account, you'll want to go under the Settings tab. And if you haven't already, make sure that you connect your custom domain. Kickstarter plan on Kajabi, if you're using Kickstarter, the custom domain is not included at that level. So this would be basic or above that you would connect your domain. But the most important thing that we want to look at here is your marketing settings, because this is the marketing settings that we'll talk about with email specifically. So Kajabi gives you two choices on your email settings. So when we click on marketing settings, you're going to scroll down until you get into the email settings section. Now, we have two options. As I said, option one is to use Kajabi's sender reputation. That means that Kajabi sends your emails on your behalf using their domain, which is the kajabimail.net. It's easy. You don't need DNS settings. And yes, you get to borrow Kajabi's sender reputation. And that is a really good choice, especially for those of you who are just getting started, or especially if you don't have a domain yet, because if you don't have a domain or if you're on the Kickstarter plan, then you will for sure be using Kajabi's sender reputation. Now, even after a decade building my online business, I and many of my 6- and 7-figure clients still use this setting. And this is where you find it here. So like I said, you go into your settings tab, go to marketing settings, and then scroll down to your email settings. And this is option one, which essentially is where you can edit this on what you want your from name to be, meaning in the email inbox for your client or prospect, what will show first in the preview. So you'll notice here in the from, it will have then this section where it says, who's this from? So you can edit this and it will default to whatever you have your main site settings to be, but you can edit it at this point. So you can either leave it blank, which will use your site title, like I said, or you can customize this. So like I could change this from North Star Directive to Rebecca Austin if I wanted to. Now, this is the important part that a lot of people overlook or do incorrectly when I'm auditing accounts and trying to figure out why deliverability is an issue. And that is this from email section. So essentially, you'll notice here it even says we recommend leaving this section as is, which will use the Kajabi email address that is personalized to your account, which allows you the benefit of excellent sender reputation that Kajabi has spent years building. So generally speaking, you'll see this is the y.kajabimail.net, and you can edit what you want this to be. However, even though you can edit it, this is the important piece that I say, leave this one alone. Don't edit whatever is here. You can, however, edit then the reply to, and this is important for you to put on for where is Kajabi then sending if somebody clicks reply to one of your Kajabi sent emails, where is it going? And then if you continue to respond back and forth, it's just going to be in whatever inbox that you are connected to, whether it's Gmail, whether it is Outlook, whether it's Yahoo, whatever it is that you are using for your email. So as a caveat to that, you do have to have your own email set up. And I do highly, highly, highly recommend that you create a business email with your domain. So you see here that mine is Rebecca@northstardirective.com. This is a reply to email that I have set up for customer service type scenarios. You can do this through Google Workspace is my recommendation. This is what we use and what most of our clients use, but there are plenty of other options, either through Outlook or other different scenarios. I do not recommend that you just use an @Gmail, @Yahoo, @Outlook type of thing for your business. But that is a deeper topic for another video where we'll talk more about business professionalism. But as far as email settings, this is then where you can go in and click the reply to, and then make sure that this is where you will receive emails if somebody replies to an email that you send through Kajabi. Okay. So yes, subscribers will see the North Star directive or whatever you put as the settings for the from, but it's going to look like this. So you'll see that whatever you put in the first is your from, and then it'll be the kajabimail.net, and it will show then the reply to and mailed by. So yes, your subscribers do see that. Gmail, for example, knows your emails didn't come directly from you, but honestly, in most cases, does this matter? Not really in my experience. That's why we've been doing it this way, and I've been doing it this way along with many of my clients since the very beginning. And even though I could switch to custom email domain, I have stuck with this. And like I said, I still get 60+% open rates on my emails. And that way, then I'm building off of Kajabi's sender reputation. The main part is just make sure that this section here, the from, is whatever the default that Kajabi gives you. Okay. Now, if you have a larger email list and you really do want your emails to come directly from your domain, you can go with option 2, which is setting up email settings in Kajabi using your own domain, which is this section here right below that under the settings tab, marketing settings. Your subscribers then will, once you have this set up, this will come then directly from you. This is where you authenticate your domain so your emails truly come from you at yourdomain.com, which, yes, this gives you control. It can give you brand trust and potentially higher deliverability, but it also means you need to add some important DNS records and verification, including SPF, DKIM, and DMARC to your domain's DNS settings. It also means that you will need to go through some email strategies to build your sender reputation, and this can take time. So if you set this up and do the custom domain part of it, then just realize that it may take some time for you to build your own sender reputation and have deliverability improve. Now, don't let that intimidate you. I'm going to walk you through what you need to know for both DNS settings and email strategy. So here's how it works. SPF, these are DNS records that tell email providers that Kajabi is allowed to send emails on behalf of my domain. DKIM is a digital signature that proves the email wasn't altered or spoofed. And DMARC tells inbox providers what to do if SPF or DKIM fails, whether they should deliver it, quarantine it, or reject it. Now, during the setup process, Kajabi will give you SPF and DKIM records once you choose to authenticate your domain. So you just go through the settings that Kajabi walks you through. So you simply copy those records into your domain host, and that would be GoDaddy, Google Domains, Cloudflare, wherever your domain lives. And if you have your domain set up in Kajabi, then it's pretty straightforward because you just add those directly into your DNS settings right inside Kajabi. Once they verify, you're now sending emails through your domain's reputation, not a forwarded email through Kajabi. But here's where most Kajabi creators get into trouble. You can only have one SPF record on your entire domain. One. And often what I see is that many people are using Kajabi and MailChimp and Google Workspace and maybe ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign too. And each platform says, add this SPF record to your DNS. So you do. And then add one more. And the second you have multiple SPF records, SPF fails and your emails start going immediately directly into spam, or they get rejected entirely. Now, if that's you, to correct this, all you have to do is combine them into one single SPF record that includes all of your services. So I'm going to put here on the screen an example of an SPF record with multiple email providers. So you can see here that it's the V equals SPF1 and then include : and then you put all of the different SPF codes that each one of the providers have given you, and then you end with the all. So you just want to know, this is one of those things where you could ask ChatGPT or some AI type of tool to help you combine those records and give you the correct DNS record for all of those providers if need be. This is one case where ChatGPT does do a pretty good job if you need the AI support. But essentially, it's just knowing that you want to make sure that you have all of those SPF records in one and that you follow the basic combination format. Now, keep in mind, this is just an example. The idea is pretty simple. One SPF record, multiple include statements. Now, DKIM is a little easier. You can have multiple DKIM keys, one for each provider, and each one of them will tell you what that DNS record needs to be. So it's usually just a matter of copy paste and follow the instructions. And DMARC, you can only have one DMARC policy, but it's pretty easy to set up. And even a basic one will work to add that element to your authenticity. So here's an example that I'll put here on the screen of a DMARC. Now, keep in mind, again, yours will look a little different, and it just depends on what your email provider is telling you that that needs to be. So again, it's a matter of just going through your settings, whether you're using Google Workspace or whatever email provider that is, they will provide you with what this needs to be. And then you just simply copy and paste it into your DNS records. Your DMARC, that tells inboxes we're monitoring, don't block anything yet, just report it. And that one line can dramatically increase trust and protect your reputation. So it's a very important one to make sure you're adding if you don't have it already. So what if your emails are already landing in spam? Well, here are a couple things you can do from a recovery standpoint. First, you want to test your email score at something like mail-tester.com before you send a big broadcast. Now, you don't have to do this on simple onboarding emails or minor things, but if you're doing marketing blasts or broadcasts in Kajabi to a large list, I do recommend that you take a look at the mail-tester.com or some other similar tool, because it'll give you an email score that will let you know how spammy your emails are appearing. So part of it is, of course, the content of the email itself, in addition to the settings. Second, I would check to see if your domain is blacklisted using MX Toolbox or Spamhaus or something along those lines, where you can kind of check on what your reputation, your sender reputation currently is. So that'll give you an idea of how much work we need to do to rebuild your sender reputation. Now, on the case of my client, it was pretty straightforward. All we had to do was make sure the settings were set correctly, send a couple emails, and he was able to get that built up pretty quickly. Third, and this is also important for developing your email's sender reputation from the beginning, so if you're first getting started, and that is to not send emails to your whole list, at least temporarily, and definitely not to your cold list while you're building sender reputation or you're improving your sender reputation. Instead, you want to focus on your warm list and your hottest leads. So start with your most engaged subscribers, because the more open rates, replies, and clicks you get, that helps with the algorithm and build your sender reputation score. So what we usually recommend is that you want to do this consistently for the first 30 to 90 days with your warmest list, and encourage people. And we're very strategic. We keep them very small. We encourage them to reply and to take some kind of action in that email. So very engaging subject lines, very engaging content to get engagement from our hot or warm list. And what that does is it really helps build the algorithm so that it tells the authentication that your domain has a good standing, and it will build your score. So make sure to while you're doing that, that you avoid any spam triggers in your subject lines and emails. So, for example, avoid using terms like free or anything that has to do with money, so no dollar signs. You don't want to use really long subject lines. We never want to use too many caps. So we don't want to be yelling out our prospects or our contacts. Be careful with using really wordy emails or giant image only emails or image heavy emails, because that can trigger spammy type content. And be very careful with your subject lines. We don't want anything misleading or salesy or spammy. And once all of that is in place, that's when you'll start seeing much higher open rates with real engagement from your list. But here's the thing, my friends, deliverability is just the beginning. So for your emails to really be effective and help you grow your business, you not only want to improve your deliverability, you want to make sure that you're connecting with your audience and following effective email strategies in addition to following the strategies I share in this video. So if you want to dive deeper into Kajabi how-tos, our Monetize with Kajabi in 7 Days or Less series, and other bonuses, I welcome you to download our free North Star Directive app. Inside, you'll also get access to our private community of creators and coaches so you can get the support that you need when you need it. All right, my friends, that's it for this video. Be sure to follow those tips, make those little tweaks. Comment below if you have any questions as you're going through the settings, and keep building up your sender reputation, watching what you're putting in your emails, and you'll watch your email deliverability and your open rates increase. So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and just remember, we're in this together.